All right, fantastic. So let's take a look to see what's happening in the markets today. And today is Friday, May 14th. And with me in the studio is my head coach, Markus. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Marcus. How are you doing?
Good. So it seems the major indices are turning around because yesterday all three major indices, snapped a 3-day losing streak. Let's take a look at this.
Yeah, I mean, a lot going on this morning. Like you said, yesterday there was an up day after a pretty decent slide. Yesterday's gains, the S&P is down 2.9% for the week, the Dow is down 2.2% for the week, and the Nasdaq is down 4.5% for the week. So we're still looking at a down week unless today there's this huge rally and we jumped 2% plus. But it was nice to get a bit of a bounce yesterday, and that kind of stopped the bleeding just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, especially looking at this morning, it seems that this continues the turnaround here. So the Nasdaq this morning, Nasdaq futures are up 0.9%. So is this the turnaround?
Well, it's a good start, and inflation had CPI data coming out much higher than expected. So consumer prices are rising significantly. And then the producer price index also higher than expected. Yesterday, I read that some Fed officials came out and kind of stressed their monetary policy plans. And Fed Governor Christopher Waller, I read a quote from him saying that the factors putting upward pressure on inflation are temporary, and an accommodative monetary policy continues to have an important role to play in supporting the recovery. So there's concerns about inflation,
Okay,
but there's
well,
also
what does this
concerns
mean
about
in
what the
plain
Fed's
English?
going to do. Was that?
What does this mean in plain English? In plain English, it just means, you know what? We need some
We're
more
going to watch.
data before we're making any progress, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so we'll see. The Fed basically says we're all good. It's all good. So we shall see. So this morning, core retail sales data was released. Let's take a look at this. Oh, came in a little bit worse than expected. There we go. So our retail sales data was expected to rise 1% and 0.5% and came in worse than expected. What do you think about that?
This was a bit of a surprise. Even, so March retail sales was up 10%. So that was a huge jump. But of course, there were stimulus checks being spent, and now basically flat. Also, core retail sales, which excludes autos, actually coming in as less in April. So minus 0.8% versus a 0.5% increase that was expected. So I think that was a bit of a surprise there. What I thought was surprising, Marcus, is that the markets fell, at least futures fell temporarily after the news, because I would say that that's bad news, but kind of a bad news is good news play. Again, if the economy is firing on all cylinders and we're seeing all this positive news and inflation concerns, uh, the Fed at some point has to raise rates. But if we're getting mixed data, I think that's a positive thing, at least for interest rates.
Yeah, if you're looking at a 5-minute chart of the overnight futures, here's the Nasdaq. We see that as the report was being released, pretty much since 4 a.m., we were going flat. The report was being released, so we were quickly heading down, but right now immediately bouncing back. As said, well, good news or bad news is good news or something like this. Who knows, right? All right. Well, but
Yeah.
let's talk about the big news that happened yesterday. The big news is that the CDC issued a new guidance and said pretty much masks off, right? I mean, the director Rochelle Walensky said that anybody who is fully vaccinated can participate in indoor or outdoor activities, large or small, physical without wearing a mask or physical distancing. And this means basically if you're fully vaccinated, you can start doing the things that you had stopped doing before the pandemic. So, wow, that is kind of a surprise, isn't it?
Yeah, especially with the guidance that they recently issued, some people were even wondering, well, why do you still have to wear masks outside when the data supports that that isn't so much of a concern? And so for me, it kind of caught me off guard. I think it came out of the blue. Now they still say that in healthcare settings, you're expected to wear masks, and public transportation, you're expected to wear masks, and if it's a business that mandates it, you're expected to wear masks. But I think that's definitely, you know, whether you're what side you're on as far as masks go, it's a huge, I think, time, because reopening the economy, how else can you say we're ready than no
Yeah,
masks for
and
vaccinated
let's
people?
see what effect it has on the markets here, right? I mean, this where yesterday American Airlines rallied up 2%. This morning they're up another 1.18%. So obviously this is affecting the travel industry. Delta Airlines also yesterday up 2%. This morning up another 1.3%. So United Airlines, probably the same picture here. Yeah, also yesterday 2.7%. This morning follow through of 1.3%. Now another one that rallied was Ulta Beauty because now if you're not wearing a mask anymore, you might have to put on some makeup. I don't know. I mean, what do I know about beauty here? But this was pretty interesting. So that yesterday, Ulta Beauty finished up 3% after the news broke. And as we know, they are selling cosmetics here, a lot of them. Now, on the other hand, there's also a couple of stocks that got hit hard by the news here. For example, Elite Healthcare, it's a major mask producer, so they slumped yesterday 10.8%. But this morning, we see that they're immediately rebounding here. It seems that they're up 11% this morning. Another mask maker is APT, Alpha Pro Technology. And yeah, they're still down from yesterday. So, I mean, not everybody is benefiting from this, but overall, for the reopening of the economy, it shall be good. But as I said, I mean, these guidelines are recommendations. They don't have the force of law. I mean, they're not laws. So decision on whether masks must be worn rests still with states, local government, and businesses, as you pointed out.
How's Etsy
Anyhow,
look?
huh?
How's Etsy looking?
Etsy. Oh, that's a good point.
I'm curious. I haven't looked.
Yeah, also yesterday down 1.5%, 1.7%, but this morning up 1.5%.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we'll see. Nothing else
Well,
there. Hey, let's talk about earnings. So we
yeah.
had Disney reporting earnings, and well, investors didn't like what they are hearing, so they reported earnings after the bell, and this morning we are down 3.84%. So what happened here?
Yeah, I guess that they reported better than expected earnings per share, but slightly lower revenue than what was expected. And I think the real key is they had some disappointing growth numbers for their streaming service. Disney Plus has been huge, really just better than expected, and they didn't have as many people subscribing as investors expected.
Yeah, they added 9 million subscribers, bringing it up to a total of 103.6 million subscribers to Disney Plus, but expected was 109 million. So they fell short of the expectations. And also, the average monthly revenue per subscriber fell by 30%. So that's not good. I don't know how this can fall because I thought it is a one price subscription. So no idea
Yeah,
what exactly is happening there. But yeah, investors don't like this because as theme parks are reopening right now, they were really hoping that Disney can continue their subscriber growth here, and it is slowing down, very similar to Netflix here.
sure, sure. Another company that reported Airbnb, Airbnb,
Yep.
and so they reported a first quarter loss, but I believe it was better than expected revenue. But they reported a 52% jump in bookings over the last quarter. So huge change in bookings, and going back to the mask mandate. Well, you still might have to wear a mask for travel, public transportation, but they're probably going to start to see the benefit of more bookings.
Yeah, I mean, their CEO said that they are expecting a heck of a quarter ahead. So they issued some positive guidance also for the remainder of the year. They think that the floodgates will open when people travel, and this should help, obviously, Airbnb. Investors are not as enthusiastic. I mean, this morning we're up 1.6%, which is pretty much in line with markets, right? So it's not that we see a huge jump. I think the CEO here is way more enthusiastic than investors looking at the data here. Another one that reported earning was Dash. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So DoorDash, and I mean, this is here. At first, it was. I mean, DoorDash. Let's just zoom out a little bit. So I want to just show the whole picture because they went public last year. When was it? It was, yeah, pretty much towards the end of last year, and so going up and then slumping down. What are we here? Like down almost 50%. But now, yesterday, they tacked on 2%, and this morning they're up another 8.8%. So it seems that there's a rebound here. Did you hear what happened? Did you look into this?
Well, I know that they had an earnings beat and so better than expected earnings. Now, they admitted that part of this was because of the stimulus checks, right? People spending more money on takeout. But also to kind of offset that, DoorDash drivers worked less because of the stimulus checks as well. So they were kind of saying, yeah, the earnings were higher, but also there was less work being done. So it kind of was a wash. I think the big thing is that they raised their annual forecast. So they're expecting to do better this year. And so that's driving the stock up pre-market.
All right. Well, we need to talk about Bitcoin. We need to see what's
Yeah.
happening with Bitcoin. So, Bitcoin over the past 2 days was really down after Elon Musk tweeted and said, you know what? We will stop accepting Bitcoin at Tesla because it takes too much energy to mine Bitcoins. So he said, that's not good, right? And so Bitcoin was slumping down. It's a little bit recovering here. And did you see that he tweeted something again this morning?
I did. I did. And I mean, this is where, the whole Bitcoin comment really caught crypto traders by surprise, right? Back in February, it's like, hey, Tesla's taking Bitcoin. Look at all the good things that are happening with Bitcoin. And now it's like he didn't know about the energy issues. And then there's the argument, well, do the energy issues really matter? Because the coins have already been mined, right? So you're not having any energy concerns just doing a transaction to buy Tesla. So I think he has something planned. And Marcus, to your point, um, with that tweet that he issued, it looks like he's getting more involved in Doge. I had it somewhere, but I don't see it anymore.
I have it up here. Working with Doge devs to improve system transaction efficiency, potentially promising. So this is where
That's
some
right.
people are interpreting like, okay, does this mean that now Tesla will accept Dogecoin as a payment instead of instead of Bitcoin? And so this is where this morning Dogecoin made a huge run yesterday and today. So Dogecoin, I believe it's up 25%. So I mean, it's this week is crypto craziness.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
All right. Hey, so in other news, the Colonial Pipeline that was shut down, and they actually reported that they paid $5 million ransom to the dark side hackers so that they could get started again. Isn't that crazy? At first
Yeah,
they said, "Well,
and
we're not gonna pay anything," and then it turned out, yeah, they paid 5 million.
yeah, I think that that's going to be a bigger story. Not necessarily about the pipeline being down and when it comes back up, but I think that they just jumped on the radar
Yeah.
by affecting so many people.
Hey, since we've been talking about
Hey,
inflation, yeah, go ahead.
oh no, I was going to say Coinbase reported,
Oh yeah, okay.
and Coinbase. So they actually reported they missed estimates, 1.8 billion in earnings versus the 1.81 billion that was expected. $3.05 a share versus the 309 that was expected. But they had record profits. So this was their first earnings release as a public company, and I want to say it was something like 177 I don't even want to throw out the numbers because I didn't write them down, but record profit for the quarter. The interesting thing is that they also said that they will begin to support Doge in 6 to 8 weeks.
Ha! Okay. So Dogecoin on the rise. Time to buy Doge, Mark?
Maybe, yeah, at Lowe's when it was like, 45 cents 2 days ago.
Right, right, right. Hey, so one thing I want to bring up, because we talked about inflation and we talked about these crazy prices for lumber and soybeans. You know what? It seems that this is turning around. I mean, this is lumber here right now, and you see that we are coming off the peak. And also with other commodities, we are seeing the same. So, for example, soybeans, very similar, because we talked about this over the past few days, that this will increase food prices, but also seems to calm down, and also corn. So I don't know. Maybe this inflation is really just temporary, as the Fed predicted.
Transitory.
So let's see. This is corn here. So we'll keep definitely an eye on this to see what is happening here. But hey, this concludes this morning's stock market update, because we wanted to make sure that you are informed and have the facts and know what is happening in the market. We want to make sure that you know what has happened yesterday, what is happening today, and what traders are looking for, so that you can make informed decisions of what to do in your trading. If you enjoyed this show, click on subscribe and hit the little notification bell, because this way you get notified whenever we go live, which is every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, 30 minutes before the markets open, so that we can look at the pre-market action and give you the right information for the day. Anyhow, have a great rest of your day and have a good weekend.
Happy trading, everybody.